welfare, and a sustainable planet. As part of our commitment to sustainability and well-being, we are thrilled to host Monali Jain in today's AMA session. Monali Jain is a certified plant-based nutritionist who found her calling in nutrition sciences after being diagnosed with PCOD. Inspired by her journey, she launched a plant-based food brand called Goodness Haven in Jaipur, building a community of over 200 conscious consumers within a year. Now, expanding to Mumbai, she is juggling both cities, helping people make healthier plant based choices and create a more compassionate world. Without further ado, let's dive into this AMA to learn from Monali's journey and insights. Thank you so much, Monali, for joining us here today.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much, Anusha, for having me.
Thank you. So, Monali, my first question for you is about your transition. So, your transition to a plant based lifestyle 5 years ago is incredibly inspiring. How has your personal journey influenced your commitment to sustainability and ethical choices? Over to you.
So as I was digging more towards what is the root cause towards PCOD, I started realizing that everything that's not just related to your diet, but your overall lifestyle is impacting you, which involves all the chemicals, all the preservatives, all the refined processed stuff. So from everything you eat to everything you wear and consume doesn't align anymore with your hormones. It doesn't align with the environment, the animals, to our health, but just the companies who makes big bucks out of it. So as I dug more towards this journey, I realized that we are one. Instead of being at the top, we should align as one towards all the living beings around us. And if we see that whatever supports us supports all the environment and animals out there, is how it will support us as well, because we are one, because we are one of them. So, yeah.
That's very profound, Monali. So, I would like you to tell us a little more about what PCOD is actually, the condition, and how does a plant based diet help manage the condition? Uh, yeah, and how does a plant based diet help with conditions like PCOD, hormonal issues such as? Yeah. So, if you could tell us a little more.
Yeah, so PCOD is polycystic ovary syndrome or disease, and it happens to 1 in every 3 women in India. And it basically means that hormone disrupts because of something which doesn't align in your body and your environment. It could be stress, it could be environmental toxins, it could be what you consume inside and outside. So if diet being major part of it, because we consume it more than 3 times a day, of course. And if I talk about the dietary aspect of it, the most common one that comes is your dairy or animal-based products, because it comes with so much antibiotics, hormones, and whatnot. And that is not only not doing any good to your overall health, but specifically your hormones is what I saw. And environmentally, if I of course talk about then your skincare or your home products, everything that involves a lot of chemicals is disrupting your hormones. So it's more than just you consume. And of course, so environmental toxins, and if I use diet as the bigger part of it, then dairy and animal products are the bigger factor contributing to it.
True, true, true. Monali, you're an expert at disease reversal, right? That's your specialization. So I would like to ask you what specific food or dietary changes are most effective in managing or reversing diseases in particular, chronic illnesses and lifestyle disorders. Right.
So at first, before like removing, we majorly focus towards adapting new things. So if I talk about that, then we will involve everything that's not processed, that is whole food. It's not refined, it's not processed. So your whole grains, your nuts and seeds, your overall vegetables and greens and all of that. And then if we eliminate, then the one major thing that we remove from the start is your animal-based products, because it's like the most refined, it's most processed stuff, which is just not any good for any of the disease protocols that we see. Of course, every diet is catered and altered towards a specific disease in person, but this is the most common factor that we look into.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds authentic. So, have you worked with any individuals who've successfully reversed health issues through plant-based nutrition choices? Can you share a success story if possible for us?
Yes, definitely. So initially, like if I talk about during COVID, my dad had major migraine issues along with BP and cholesterol. And I made him switch towards plant-based diet and some vitamins that was needed for overall health, heart health and stuff. And within 6 months, his 10-year-long BP got reversed. And my mom also had cervical cyst or some issues around that, and it was as close to her getting an operation at this age. The doctor told her to get it removed because it can be cancerous later on and all of that. But then I just told her to follow the protocol that we do, and in 3 months she was able to make it back to normal. No typical procedures which involves any operation or medications. And if I, of course, involve my clients as well, then there was one who had diabetes and BP for past 2 3 years, and we made her switch to plant-based diet with some alterations in her diet specifically. And in 4 months, I think she was able to reverse it. So all of different cases, different age groups. We have been seeing a lot of trust in this diet, with of course some alterations that needed, and they just automatically stop taking or going back to their normal lifestyle and eating ways. So yeah.
That's very impressive. Just 4 months reversed. That's good stuff. Good work. So, I am pretty inspired by your venture, your business venture, Goodness Haven, right? So it's been very successful and it is a testament to the potential of innovative plant-based ventures. How do you see ventures like Goodness Haven contributing to a broader food system transformation, which aligns with Samayu's vision for ethical and sustainable practices?
So, for everyone, if I may introduce, Goodness Haven is all about plant-based products. It involves fresh, non-processed, chemical-free, preservative-free dairy alternatives. So, my goal here, when I started off in Jaipur, was to provide dairy alternatives, because 5 years back we didn't have any, or we couldn't see the ones that was there to be much accessible. So I realized that even before me spreading awareness, there need to be availability of those products. So initially, I started off making people aware about it first, and then again at the same time simultaneously giving them the solution and the accessibility to those products. So, and of course, like Jaipur being one of the very heavy consumers of dairy, people wanting to have all the alternatives was a more practical solution rather than just making them aware towards it. So yeah.
Yes, it was an intelligent move, definitely. So, did you face any challenges while launching your plant-based health food brand?
Definitely. I mean, 4 or 5 years back, people were not as aware, and they were very straight set towards their belief, especially, consuming dairy to be actually good for them rather than harmful. So it was a challenge to make them believe that, dairy for us was never supposed to be good. It's just a gimmick for making profits to the bigger companies, and we were never supposed to consume it even years ago or ages ago. So I think creating awareness were one of the bigger challenge and still is in the city. But people are slowly becoming more aware towards their health, especially after COVID. So they are more willing to make a change or at least try the products.
That's promising. Something I would really personally want to know is how did you build a conscious community of 200 plus people within the short span of just 1 year? How did you manage to do that?
Yeah, so I met a lot of people after introducing my brand here in Jaipur, and I saw that a lot of them who were already in this journey or who were wanting to get on board in this journey were feeling very isolated in this city because we didn't have a lot of events or awareness programs as such to make people aware or have a feeling of belongingness. So I thought that maybe if I create a community for the people, then which can give them a sort of one step solution to everything that's revolved around conscious lifestyle, not just food, not just diet, everything. So within 1 year, we did everything which involves, for example, reading a conscious book, reading or doing a conscious festival meetup, doing raw food potlucks, and having a nutrition talk, everything that involved in a conscious community. So, yeah, and slowly people started joining in because it was a no judgment zone sort of a community. So they automatically felt attracted towards having in that, being a part of that community. So, yeah.
Great job. Great place as well. So many congratulations on building that community. So I would like you to tell me now that what inspired you to expand your brand to Mumbai, that which you've done recently, right? And how has the journey been so far?
Yeah, the journey I'm still coping up with. So, with the busy Mumbai life towards being in Jaipur, of course. But me going to a city like Bombay was majorly because Jaipur again lacked a lot of awareness. So it was a bit difficult professionally to make people aware and bring a change faster than I would like to. So Mumbai seemed like one of those cities where people are already aware, the demand is already there, but there are only few people doing it or making it more accessible to them. So that was one of the reasons, of course, because I see a lot of brands in Mumbai doing things in food, but nutrition-wise, I realized that it might needs more awareness and accessibility programs. So, yeah.
Okay, good thinking. So do you have any suggestions or advice for aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself who are looking to start a plant-based business like you have from scratch?
Yes, start with just one product at a time with more
Okay.
awareness.
Mhm.
So it actually builds a more holistic journey as a business for you. And at the same time, you see you can make a smaller impact in a much bigger way. Like you can uh, involve a lot of people and bring on board a lot of change with just one single product because it's easier to make them aware about it.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Sure. So, you make milk, curd, and tofu, etc., right? They're the products on offer. How are your products different from other similar plant-based products being offered by other companies, other ventures?
Um, so one of the reasons why I started it here was because I wanted to have a feel of having fresh, sort of like a milkman coming to your door and giving you fresh milks. So that was the concept behind me making fresh milks and giving people door-to-door services like that for fresh vegan milks. So replacing just the dairy part, but involving the same milkman procedure to make people feel like this is supposed to be an age-old concept for us. This is not foreign for us. And of course, the fact that consuming fresh dairy is always like plant-based dairy, of course, is always better for us than packaged ones. And especially in the north, people have that belief that at least dairy products need to be fresh, freshly delivered. So that was the concept behind us making freshly plant-based dairy alternatives, giving them door-to-door services for it. Yeah.
That was, yeah, that's smart reasoning on your part. I do believe that. So, you've been talking about your awareness sessions a lot. I would like to know a little bit about those now. So, you've led these sessions on plant-based nutrition across schools, colleges, hospitals, and even corporations. How have these sessions influenced participants? And is there a growing focus on health and sustainability, which is also a cherished goal of Samayu's, our organization? So, is there a growing focus on health and sustainability these days?
I see more people leaning towards their health when I organize such sessions because, of course, the people who are joining in are more scared for them. So it's, the change first needs to begin from them. But later on, when they do, some of them do get on board, then they start to realize the sustainability aspect towards it. And, they sort of get a mental clarity between alignment towards your own health, animals, the environment, and everything else. So of course it's a process, and not everybody might get on board with it, but the ones that do sticks to it. So yeah, definitely.
That sounds nice. That's good. It's happening. So slowly but steadily, surely, maybe people will catch on. So, do you think there is a lack of awareness about plant-based nutrition even in a city like Mumbai?
Yes, definitely. I have a lot of clients come up to me and say that they've never experienced, they've never taken a session from a nutritionist, or they've never had a health plan by a nutritionist, so they don't know how to go about it. Some of them feel a little bit skeptical, like it's not for them, or it will be too complicated for them to follow, and all of that. And then, of course, when they come on board, when they see everything that we offer, and then they slowly feel that, yeah, it's just like their gym routine, how they are loyal to going to the gym and doing other healthy physical fitness stuff. It's just like that, with, of course, lesser accessibility. But once they get on board, it's easier for them to follow even on their own later on.
Okay. And I would like you to tell me, how are you working? I mean, the process, the actual process, which is involved in spreading awareness in colleges, schools, and hospitals, etc. If you could take us through your process of the spreading awareness.
Yeah, definitely. So I majorly right now am collaborating with a lot of sustainable NGOs like yours in different cities or parts. So they, of course, then if they have already reached out to certain schools, or if they've already, planned on hosting a workshop, then I either go ahead and do it as a collaboration with them, or of course I reach out individually to schools or corporates and host a wellness workshop catering to a specific type. For example, in schools we'll do it for the kids or the teenagers. For gym we might do it for mothers or teen girls, or any specific problem. For corporates we might do it for hypertension, or we might do it for heart disease or something. So yeah.
That's very strategic. That sounds good. So, what has been the most rewarding experience in your journey of educating people about plant-based nutrition?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah. So, what has been the most rewarding experience in your journey of educating people about plant-based nutrition? The most rewarding experience so far?
Um, the results, like when they come up to me and when they say that the diet has not only reversed their disease, but also the way they think and behave. Like they come out to be a completely new human from the process, which makes me the most happiest because they're slowly then aligning to be more in sync with themselves, of course, and then the things around them. So they become more consciously aware about their decisions, their choices for them, and for the environment, for the animals. So of course, when you see that, you know, it's one of a kind experience for sure.
That has been most rewarding, right? So, did you face any resistance when introducing plant-based nutrition in traditional spaces like hospitals and corporates? Any?
Not really. Like it's how you approach it, right? So my way of approaching it is not a strict no in the first day. We slowly, gradually make them, reduce one thing at a time, and then they also see their health progressing. Then they also want to believe it and slowly, follow it and stick to it. So not so far.
Okay, so because you've been very smart and strategic about it, you take it really slow
Right.
and not impose any abrupt changes on them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when your strategy, it seems to be working so far, so it's great, right? And I'm pretty sure it'll work in future as well. So yeah, so my next question would be about your product line. Do you plan to introduce more products in future, and what kind would
I
you?
definitely would love to. Of course, like I don't want to stop looking at how people respond and at how looking at the demands of people, especially in the health sector. Um, everybody have and like in Jaipur, if I say people love all the fried stuff, like kachori or samosa or something like that, then I would love to introduce all of that here. And in Mumbai, if, I would love to introduce vada pav and all of that. And I probably can, but of course, I have to limit myself to a singular product line because it's more strategic for me and less stressful, of course. But later on, if I can, then I would love to introduce as much as I can, and probably also might as well come up with a recipe book, health recipe book for people to just make at home.
Nice. That's good ambition. Those are the very satisfying, fulfilling goals of yours. I wish you all the very best with that, and really look forward to your new product line and your book. So, so what was the most surprising thing you learned when you started studying plant-based nutrition?
Oh man, I mean, I actually felt like we are being scammed by most of the doctors, if not all. Um, the fact that basic vitamin and mineral requirements can affect how your body functions. That was the most crazy part for me because I realized that a lot of us just not take care of our basic nutrient levels on a daily basis. And the depletion of that leads to specific problems that we face. So, of course, like diet is one of the things, like leaving dairy or leaving animal-based products. But apart from that, is your basic vitamin and minerals. If you can look into, I see a lot of people, irrespective if they are non-vegetarian or not, being B12 deficient or being calcium deficient because of their overall diet. So that leading to other serious illnesses in their body and how it's functioning. So yeah, that was one of the major things that I learned and was shocked about.
Mm, true, true, true. So now, Monali, I wanted to ask you, do you have any expansion ambitions, as in you've expanded to a brand new city altogether? Do you have any such ambitions for any other cities? Do you want to expand to other parts of India and raise awareness and take all this knowledge and information to other people, other parts of India? Do you have any such plans in the pipeline?
Yeah, I do plan to. I mean, ultimately, let's see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely would like to expand to either Pune or Bangalore next. So yeah, let's see how this one goes in Mumbai, how it plans out. But if I can, then later on for sure in Pune or Bangalore.
Wonderful. So let's now turn to the audience for their questions. So, audience members, feel free to type your questions in the chat, and I will be sure to direct them to Monali. And until they type their questions, maybe I can ask you one more. Um, so, have you seen a shift in mindset towards plant-based living in Jaipur and Mumbai?
Yes, like among my patients and clientele, yes. Once they switch to this diet and see the change in their health, then they stick to it in Jaipur. But in Mumbai, it's easier for them to accept it even when they don't fully go with the plan or change it. Yeah, that I've noticed between these two cities so far. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think the community, being part of a community, is vital for making these switches? Uh, and does it make plant-based living more accessible? The community events that you keep holding, does it make it easier for people to stick around and to embrace this new lifestyle that they've been introduced to?
Yes, definitely. And when I introduced this community, I started getting on board a lot of um, plant-based friendly brands and cafes. So we had plant-based dairy alternative brands from other cities sending their samples for our communities members to try because they wanted to come and introduce their brand to our city. And a lot of cafes that we introduced to our members also started keeping plant-based alternatives in their menu so that our member can try and experience it and share their genuine feedback, promote it, and all of that. So yeah, a sense of community and a sense of support definitely not just help the people and the members out there, but also commercially the brands who are trying to, do the right thing and make a living out of it. Yeah.
Great. So it does matter. We do have a question from Siddharth. So I'm going to read out his question to you. I was curious if we had to take care about blood glucose spikes. If yes, will it be right to limit fruit intake and to put it at the end of a meal to buffer up the spikes?
Um, So again, it depends body to body type, but generally, fruit is not the one that's causing the blood sugar spike. It's our overall meal, how balanced it is. If you're consuming a lot of gluten in the diet, if you're not taking enough fats, if you're not taking enough fiber, that can be the reason behind spikes of blood sugar level. Or again, as simple as not having a balance of vitamins and minerals in your body, which is not making it stable enough for you or supporting it. So it's not the fruit that's causing it. It's other things that you might want to look at.
Okay. Great. So it might not be, the focus should be on balancing your diet and introducing all kinds of nutrients in your diet. And that is going to ultimately, not, thanks, Monali, that will ultimately help. Right. So Monali, I recently started using a lot of coconut milk in my cooking. Do you think too much, it might be too much at some point of time, or is it, it's good, as in I can continue to use a lot of coconut milk, or should I reduce my consumption? Any advice on that?
So how much are you consuming it? If you're ideally consuming around 250 ml per day, then it should be okay. But again, it comes from a different body type. And if you don't have other sources of fat on a daily basis, then 250 ml of coconut milk should be fine.
Mhm. So yeah, that's how much I'm using. So that's the only problem with coconut milk, that it might be very high in cholesterol, and no, saturated fats, right? So I might want to limit that over a longer period of time, right? It might lead to weight gain possibly, but not if I do it in moderation. Great. So one of my friends recently relapsed. Being plant-based, they went back to their older ways of, consumption, meat consumption and dairy consumption. So what advice would you give to somebody like that who has cravings and they tend to relapse and go back to their old ways? How can we stick to a plant-based diet? I mean, what are some of the tips that you might, you know, give to someone who struggles with sticking to a diet? I mean, ethically, morally, mentally, they're in that space, but something happens physically, they start to crave it. I mean, it's a bodily need or something. So, how should they
Mm.
manage that in the moment and resist the urge?
Yeah, so again, cravings comes for a lot of reasons. It can be stress, it can be lack of protein, it can be lack of fiber, it can be lack of nutrients. Again, so majorly, mostly the two most common things is like lack of protein or too much sugar or stress. So if you're not balancing your meal with enough protein, then you will always crave something and you wouldn't have enough solutions or you wouldn't know enough solution, which will lead you to fall back and also not prepping your meals enough throughout your day. So I also can't have big portions of meal at a time. I want to have small portions in every 3 hours or so. So, but I know like what to have, what to consume every time. I've prepped my meals and my overall day accordingly. So if you do tend to fall back, that means your kitchen pantry is not fully equipped or you are not fully skilled enough to have your meals sorted like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe they need to work on it. Right. And what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting? So, like my blood sugar spiked about a couple of years ago. I was borderline that pre-diabetic, right? So, what I started to do to manage that, I started to fast 15 hours each day. And all my food consumption is within that window of 8 hours, right? Uh, it's regulated. Do you think it's a long-term solution to fast for that? I mean, if you could explain the science to me behind that, and do you think in the longer term I'm doing a favor to the body, or am I just, playing around and dabbing in something that might potentially lead to another disorder that I might have to deal with later?
So it depends on body to body type. For some people, it might align, but for some people, they can face more blood sugar spikes. Like for PCOD, it's not suitable to have longer fasting hours because that can impact your blood sugar levels. Or for people who tend to face a lot of gas or digestive other digestive issues. So it really depends on your body type and your overall eating habits as well, which can support it or not.
Okay, so far I have lost like and maintained some weight loss, and that has helped me. So I think it is potentially, I mean, it is doing what it's meant to be doing. I feel okay, except for the muscle loss, for which I should start taking in lots of protein, right? So yeah, that's one thing. Uh, so I think I wanted to know. We've talked about the challenges, we've talked about resistance, we've talked about what was most rewarding moments in your journey so far, and it's been a 5-year long journey for you, right? So I wanted to know, what do 5 years, the next 5 years, look like for you? I know that you are going to expand to Pune or Bangalore. Apart from that, do you have any other goals in terms of the kind of verticals that you're going to choose? As in, would you like to dabble into any other space with respect to plant-based diets and nutrition and animal welfare and environment and sustainability in the next 5 years? What might be your goals? I think it would be a great way to take a look at the future. Now that we are nearing the end of the session, I'd like to know how we will progress into the future, your journey, and the convergence of our journeys. How do they look like for you?
Yeah, so my goal is that every city that I cover, I leave an impact for a 360 degree, in a 360-degree way, where it's not just the product, it's not just the community, it's not just the nutrition services, it's everything that's coming together. So in every city that I go to, I want to create that community for them, which, also gives them the access to a one-step nutrition services, but not just through me, but through all the wellness people out there who are in this field. For example, somebody in yoga or vegan or plant-based psychologists and all of those wellness people that I trust in each city that can provide what people might lack in that city or look forward to. So that's of course one of the things that I would like to have in the near future, and a recipe book that I would like to launch, which also involves how people can meal prep throughout the day and overall balance their meal. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like a very good plan for the future. And so a bigger network is always a good idea for the work that we're trying to do. We have another question by Siddharth. So he's saying, I'll read it out to you. I'm already a vegan. For a 75 kg body weight, I'm targeting 75 grams of protein intake. Since it's a plant derived protein that I consume, should I consume more than 75 grams given the slightly lower PDCAAS of plant protein? And is it okay to consume tofu and soy chunks daily? That's my question as well. Yeah, I'd like to know that too.
So if you're consuming around 60, 70 grams of tofu and 60, 70 grams of soy chunks daily, then it should be fine. And yeah, plant-based protein have a lower absorption when you don't balance it with enough fiber. So, of course, if you balance your meals with enough fiber and fat, then it's good enough. And yeah, if too much protein is also not good because it can impact your liver, it doesn't get fully digested, and it can lead to constipation or other issues. So, of course, balancing your 75 grams of protein with fiber and fat is good. And also, it depends on how active you are physically to be taking more than that. But so far, if you are not that physically active, then 75 grams is good enough.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds about right. Pearl here has a question. So Pearl is talking about, I'm going to read it out to you. So she says, I was in a state of acute stress for a few months, and during that process of coming out, getting over her stress, that bout of stress, I started having pimples on my cheeks near her ears. I had a lot of hair fall in that during that time. And is this a sign of PCOD? Even after working out for the past 6 months by hitting the gym, the skin and hair are not improving as such. Do you think it's a sign of PCOD, and can she fix it by making some alterations in her nutrition, in her diet?
So PCOD can be like, there are a lot of symptoms that make you want to look into if you have PCOD. So it's not just acne around your chin; it can be just disbalance of hormones rather than PCOD, right? So you might want to get it checked if you think that you do have PCOD. But generally, if you do, then the most common symptoms are having hirsutism, losing hair, having pimples around your cheek, having discoloration around your face or body, or not having regular cycles, of course, and having change of how much you weight generally, your food cravings, if you're craving a lot of sugar or chocolate. Yeah, so there are a lot of factors that you might want to look into before self-diagnosing yourself. So, or just get it checked. Yeah, sometimes
Mm.
it's just, again, lack of nutrients.
Mhm. So yeah, a diet plan would be good in this case. Might be able to reverse a condition, but yeah, must get checked, right? Okay, thank you. Monali, we have another question. This time it's Chris who is asking this question. I will read it out to you. What about bioavailability of nutrition from plant sources, especially in case of protein? Are there any other easily available sources besides soy and mushroom? So he's basically asking about plant protein. Might be, yeah, where might we get them? So yes, Monali.
Uh, yeah, so thankfully, plant proteins are the ones that are most bioavailable than animal protein. It's how you balance it. If you're consuming beans and lentils, then you need to make sure that you have the right kind of whole fats and whole carbs with it, and enough fiber as well, of course. But thankfully, they contain fiber in them as well. So they are the most bioavailable ones. They will less likely cause harm to your liver than animal protein. Yeah, and if you face gas because of beans or lentils, it can be because of three reasons. Number one is your gut being disbalanced. Number two can be how you are soaking and cooking it. Number three can be you not taking other things along with it, like the right 1 or 2 tablespoon of fat, whole fats, again your nuts and your coconut, shredded coconut or something like that, not your ghee won't do any good. And of course your whole carbs like your millets, your quinoa, or your Indian wheat, which is kapli wheat, not whole wheat. Yes.
Oh, what is it that you just said? What is this Indian wheat? Uh,
Kapli
thank you.
wheat, emmer
What's it
wheat.
called?
It's emmer wheat or kapli wheat, so it has lesser glycemic gluten index, and it's more digestible to us because our ancestors consume this kind of wheat, so our gut lining also absorbs this wheat much better than the ones that were introduced to us. So, yeah.
And what are your thoughts on rice consumption? Should we would it be a better idea to switch to brown rice? Does rice have any nutritional value whatsoever?
Yes, so it depends on the kind of rice you're consuming. If it's local, small rice that we see, it's great for you. You can definitely consume it. Not on a daily basis, but 2, 3 times a week is fine. But if you consume the ones like the basmati rice or refined rice, then it's not good for you. But local rice definitely is good. There are a lot of different varieties of rice that provides minerals and vitamins like iron and calcium and other things. So you just need to look into the kind of rice that you are consuming.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. That's very educational and yeah, illuminating. So the entire session has been like that. It's been wonderful talking to you, and we learned so much from you today. And we will try to incorporate all the suggestions, all the ideas that you gave us into our lives and into our, nutrition and our diet. We wish you all the very best with your future plans of expanding to other cities. It's always great to see ambition in, you know, um, young ladies, and we really hope, Samayu hopes, that you take the message forward and spread the message of plant-based living and lifestyles far and wide. And we are heartful gratitude for that you came here today and shared your insights and your learning and with us and introduced us to so many new things that we didn't know about. So Monali, thank you very much for being with us here today.
I'm
And
grateful as always.
thank you everyone else for joining us today for this very wonderful session. And I wish everybody a good evening and we'll see you soon on our socials and we will be in constant touch with Monali. for our future events and everything. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anusha and everyone.
Thank you, Monali.
Most welcome, Siddharth. I'll see you around soon, and it was a lovely session indeed.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Take
See
care.
you. Bye.
See you.
Take care.
Take care.